Welcome back. In our last explainer, we really dug into what peace truly is, and wow, it's so much more than just the absence of war, right? We left things on a bit of a cliffhanger with this huge unanswered question. So today, we're diving right back in to find the answer.
Look, it's one thing to define peace, to talk about it in theory, but how do you actually build it? That's a whole other ballgame. So that's our mission for today. We're going on a quest to find the builders.
But before we can find them, we've got to get our heads around one really big idea from our source material. Peace isn't just some far-off goal. It's the actual substance of any positive impact we want to have. It's the foundation for everything else. Okay, so if I were to ask you right now, how do we build peace? Two answers would probably pop into your head. First, there's the classic path, the one from peace research. Diplomacy, treaties, mediation, all about fixing the external structures of society. Then there's the spiritual path, this idea that outer peace starts with inner peace. If we find calm in ourselves, we can bring it to the world. And look, both of those are absolutely crucial, but they're not the whole story.
What if the most powerful force for creating peace in our actual day-to-day lives is something we see and interact with constantly, but almost never ever connect with the word peace? What if these traditional paths, as important as they are, have been missing the biggest player in the game?
Business. Yep, you heard me right. That thing we usually connect with profit, competition, the bottom line. I know, it sounds totally counterintuitive, but stick with me, because we're about to explore how business is, and maybe always has been, one of the primary builders of peace. Now, I get it, you might be skeptical. To understand this surprising third answer, we've got to connect a few dots. And to do that, let's make this really personal.
Just take a second. Think about your own sense of peace, right here, right now, as you're watching this. What's making it possible? Is it the food in your kitchen? The clothes you're wearing? The roof over your head? How about the device you're on and the internet that's delivering this to you? Where did all that stuff come from? Yeah, for-profit businesses. Our tangible, everyday peace is literally built on a foundation of products and services that businesses create.
So here's the key. To see this connection, we have to expand our definition of peace. The legendary peace researcher Johan Galtung gave us two incredible concepts. Negative peace, that's the one we all know. It's just the absence of violence, like war. But positive peace, now that is the game changer. It's the presence of things that actively create a thriving society. Things like justice, opportunity, and well-being. And our source material builds on this with an even richer framework. Think of it like a ladder. At the very bottom, you've got non-war. Simple enough. A step up from that is weak peace. That's when you get rid of the structural problems, like deep injustice. But then we start climbing into the positive. Strong peace is the active presence of good things, health, prosperity, human rights, and at the very top, holistic peace, a grand vision for the total well-being of all of humanity.
And here's a brilliant analogy to make it all click. We don't think the purpose of medicine is just to avoid death, right? Its purpose is to create health. Well, it's the same for society. The goal of a functioning society isn't just to avoid war. Its purpose is to create peace in all these rich, positive forms. Peace is the ultimate social good.
Okay, so let's apply that same logic to business. The common wisdom says the purpose of business is to make a profit. But the legendary management guru, Peter Drucker, said that's a complete misunderstanding. Profit isn't the purpose, it's just a test. It's proof that the business is doing something right. The real purpose, he argued, has to be outside the business itself. It has to be in society. And this is where Drucker lands, with this fascinating quote, "The purpose of business is to create a customer." Now, what does that really mean? It means a business exists to find a real need out there in society and then meet it. By solving a problem for someone, by fulfilling a need, a business becomes, at its very core, an engine for peace. So if a business's real job is to serve society, and society's ultimate goal is to create peace, how does that actually work? Let's break it down with the practical framework our source calls the ladder of morality. This is where it all comes together.
This model is great because it connects ethical business actions directly to those levels of peace we just talked about. It's a simple three-rung ladder. The first step is all about creating weak peace. The second is about building strong peace. And that third, really aspirational step is about aiming for holistic peace.
All right, so the first rung, do no harm. This is the absolute baseline for any ethical company. It's about contributing to weak peace by basically not making things worse. It means you don't engage in corruption, you make sure your operations aren't hurting the local community, and you're aware of any conflicts in the places where you work. It's the foundation.
The second wrong is where business goes from being passive to being proactive. This is all about building strong peace. It's not just about avoiding bad stuff, it's about actively creating good stuff. This means respecting human rights all the way down your supply chain, creating real value for everybody, your employees, customers, the whole community, and really contributing to the local economy.
And then there's the top of the ladder. This is the truly visionary level. Fostering holistic peace requires a fundamental shift in mindset. It's for leaders who see their company as part of a deeply interconnected world. It's about moving beyond pure self-interest to serve a higher purpose, and making decisions not just for the next quarter, but for the kind of future we all want to live in.
So when you put all of this together, you can see it's way more than just a corporate social responsibility strategy. It's a completely new paradigm. It's a radical shift in how we think about what a company is even for.
This quote from the Dalai Lama, which is cited in the source, just captures the spirit of this new paradigm perfectly. It's about moving from a narrow, short-term, profit-only view to a holistic, long-term one that gets how interconnected everything is. In this new world, every single business decision has ripples that affect peace.
So maybe it's time we reframe that famous old line from Milton Friedman. The purpose of business isn't just more business. When it's done ethically, when it's done thoughtfully, and with a real sense of purpose, the business of business is peace. It's about creating the conditions, the jobs, the products, the prosperity that allow all of us to flourish.
And that leaves us with one final and, I think, pretty powerful question. Because this isn't just a big idea for CEOs. It applies to every single one of us who works. If we accept this idea that the ultimate purpose of business is to build peace, then what's the purpose of your work? How does what you do every day, step by step, contribute to building a more peaceful world? That's definitely something worth thinking about.